All right, welcome to the show, y'all. Hope everybody out there is having a great day. I got to be honest, I am still coming down from the high of election night, and it feels good. It feels good. That was quite a high. In fact, I have the cigar from the bit. I have that here. Still, the room still smells like old man right now. A cigar smell reminds me of an old man, an old successful man, but an old man nonetheless. And right now, this room, this studio room we got here, the study here, it smells big time, like ass cheeks. Because cigars are not the best smell, in my opinion at least. They're not the best smell. I've never really been a cigar smoker. I smoked cigarettes for a while, then I vaped for a while, but I never was a cigar smoker. So, not the biggest fan of the smell, but a lot of stuff to get to today, y'all. We got a bunch happening. So in just a second, Stephen Miller manages to hit a wretched new low because he's crashing out over Zoran Mamdani winning the race to be New York City mayor. We'll talk about that. We also have the smug MAGA hack Scott Jennings gets absolutely torched by David Hogg, and it's a beautiful thing to see. I'm just waiting. People need to keep putting that guy in his fucking place, bro. I cannot stand that guy. He's got the smuggest face in the world. It's just the most punchable. Him and JD Vance are tied for the most punchable fucking faces in the world, and everybody knows it. Even people on the right know it. They look at it like, Jesus Christ, that fucking face. I can't take it. I literally can't take it. So we'll talk about that. We also have brown people in MAGA are shocked to learn that MAGA is racist. Took them a fucking decade. Took them a decade to figure it out. But ladies and gentlemen, I believe some of them have caught on. So we'll get into that. We'll also get into Trump's worst nightmare coming true. And the Venezuela warmongers are going fully mask off. And Marjorie Taylor Greene goes on The View. And it's kind of crazy how it went. I mean, she's certainly trying to do a face turn, no doubt about that. And then a really cool segment later on. There's this 1943 film that eerily predicted the rise of Donald Trump that I want to share with you. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about today. You guys know the drill. Everybody please do me a big favor and subscribe to the channel. That helps out big time and costs you absolutely nothing. It really helps spread the videos through the algorithm if you subscribe and if you like and if you leave comments and stuff like that. So hook a brother up with that stuff. Also, thank you to everybody who supports the show on Patreon. Literally could not do this show without you. Remember, this is real independent media. I've never talked to an advertiser, never done an ad read, never talked to a billionaire or a PAC or a government or anything like that. You guys make that possible. So again, thank you from the bottom of my heart. If you don't support the show, please consider you can support on Patreon, or you can tip with that thanks button on YouTube, which is also right below me here. Go sub to Crystal, Kyle, and Friends as well. That link is below. It's the Substack link below. And go sub to Corin's World on YouTube. You don't want to miss the live Kyle and Corin episodes. We almost went for 4 hours the other night, y'all. We almost went for 4 hours. It was a fun podcast. Come hang out with us every Monday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And with that being said, here we go ski broski. So let's do it. So Stephen Miller, this was immediately after we learned that Zoran Mamdani won. He came out and tweeted the following. It says, household and family types. This is from the New York City government website. Household and family types. Family household types by immigration status. Almost 50% of New Yorkers live in family households with at least one immigrant. Over 1 million children, equaling 62% of all children in New York City, live in a household with at least one foreign-born family member. Of the 1 million New Yorkers who live in mixed status homes, 265,500, or 27%, are children. 80% of these children are U.S.-born citizens. Mixed status homes demonstrate that all New Yorkers are impacted by federal policies that separate families. So, why did Stephen Miller tweet this? I think you know why. But the reason why he did it is it's a threat. Because Zoran Mamdani won, Stephen Miller wants to punish New York City. He wants to punish them for wanting to freeze the rent and do free childcare and free buses. He wants to punish them. So this is a threat to deport children. It's a threat to have ICE go fucking wild in New York City. And this is exactly why I've been telling you what's been happening in this country is a slow-moving civil war where only one side is fighting. That's what we've been witnessing. That's why you have the National Guard from various red states invading blue cities. And then when they're there, they're caught on camera saying things like, as they're arresting an innocent person, saying things like, liberals ruin this country. This is not a coincidence. This is all planned. These are fucking deputized white nationalists and Proud Boys. These are people from extremist groups. These are people, as we learned, with long rap sheets, with long criminal histories. People who can't even pass the bare minimum standards to even get into fucking ICE, right? Like, these are like the rejects from the fucking military and the rejects from the police academy. And now they've been given a badge with no fucking serious training whatsoever. And they're told, fuck everybody's rights, fuck the Constitution. You go around and you do whatever you want to these people. And that's why we see people getting assaulted. That's why we see priests getting shot in the face with pepper balls and an 84-year-old married couple getting assaulted. Like, this is so beyond the pale. So now he's literally threatening the children of New York City because New York voted for Zoran. And by the way, it wasn't close. Zoran won by over 20 fucking points, okay? Even if Sliwa dropped out and Cuomo got all of Sliwa's votes, Zoran still would have won. You want to know why? Because we've had enough of your fucking shit. That's why. We've had enough of your shit. How long was it the case that the Democrats, when they go low, we go high? How long was that the case? How long was it the Obama mentality of like, I'm going to reach across the aisle, do bipartisanship and negotiation, and well, guess what? We got the message now. The message was sent loud and clear. You fucking hate us. You want us dead. You're literally invading our blue cities and arresting people for no reason whatsoever, sending them to fucking concentration camps, no due process. You've made clear how much you hate us. So finally we decided, okay, we're going to vote for who we actually want to vote for. People who are actually going to try to do universal health care, free college, a living wage, end the wars, fucking break up the ICE Gestapo into a million pieces and abolish that godforsaken agency. Well, now we're picking these people. And so Zoran is just the beginning. He is the beginning of the Democratic Tea Party wave. You're also going to see Abdul El-Sayed win. You're also going to see Graham Plattner win. It's about to be on like Donkey Kong, bitch. It is about to be on like Donkey Kong. And so this is his reaction. I mean, think about how depraved of a reaction this is. And also, just for the record, the fact that he's doing this, he's taunting everybody. And he's reminding everybody who the real president is. There's two presidents not named Donald Trump. You know who they are? Russell Vought, the head of the Office of Management and Budget, who's orchestrated all of these illegal cuts to the federal agencies, including helping Elon Musk with when he did his illegal cuts. He's one of the shadow presidents on domestic economic policy, and Stephen Miller is the other shadow president. And you might even be willing to throw in Marco Rubio there because he's been controlling foreign policy as a neocon imperialist, bombing Iran, bombing fucking Venezuela. So you got all these shadow as Trump is like, you know, playing interior designer between the Oval Office and the East Wing of the White House and his shitty fucking $350 million ballroom, which is a giant scam that billionaires and some pay-to-play nonsense going on there. Trump's focused on that. Marco's running the foreign policy. Stephen Miller's running the immigration policy. And Russ Vought is running the domestic economic policy. That's where we're at. And so this is Stephen Miller reminding everybody, guys, remember when they did that raid on that, it was like a South Korean plant being built in the U.S., and they had South Korean workers that were helping build it. Remember that? Well, they were here legally, but there was this big ICE fiasco where they rounded them all up and deported them. And that was a huge deal. It was a huge scandal. Well, Trump was asked about that, and he basically said, I wasn't in favor of this, and it happened. And it's sort of an admission that, like, well, I didn't really get the last say, which means who did? Well, fucking Stephen Miller, the Nazi's Nazi, the Jewish Nazi, the fascist Nazi. Like, he's the one who's making the decisions. And he's hateful to his core, this weaselly little fucking disgusting, slimy twerp, wretched, repulsive little twerp, slimy to his core. And you've seen the videos, we've all seen the videos of him brag as a 17-year-old, I think he was, on a bus saying that I love torture because torture is a celebration of human dignity. Excuse you? He gave a speech when he ran for some class position, and he was saying, like, I'm sick and tired of people telling us we have to clean up our litter. Fuck that. We have janitors. Why can't they fucking do the job? We should be able to throw our trash wherever we want to throw it. This is who this guy has always been. He literally was paraphrasing Joseph Goebbels at Charlie Kirk's memorial service. That's who this is. And so here, is this the side you want to be on? Is this the side threatening the children of New York City? And by the way, I love how it's supposed to be such a own, like, it's an immigrant city. Do you believe that? Yeah. And that fucking proves immigration is based. That's what that proves. Because here we have what is universally recognized as one of the, if not the greatest city in the fucking world. And it's massively packed full of immigrants. And it's full of vibrancy and life and hard workers. And I mean, it's just, everybody knows this. But here you are thinking it's some sort of an own. No, this is a threat. This is a threat. And yet again, I'm going to reiterate this. Democrats need to get serious. Trump has withheld $27 billion from blue states in money that we have a right to because it's federal money. We paid our taxes. We're supposed to get that money back. So he's only held back less than $1 billion from red states, but he's held back $27 billion from blue states. Okay, if that's the game you want to play, every Democratic governor should say, we have the federal tax money sitting in escrow, and we're not going to release it to the federal government unless and until you release the money we're owed. And so it's time to play tough. It's time to play rough. It's time to fucking, let them know we're not fucking around here either. And we're only going to release that money if you release the federal funds that we are owed by law. And so this is how you do it. And we should also be having that conversation about national divorce, because what are we getting out of it? What are we getting out of it? Again, here you have New York City and New York State, the phenomenally large and powerful economy, one of the economic engines of the world, not just the U.S. The whole state of California is like the fourth biggest economy in the world on its fucking own. On its own. So we have the blue states are net taxpayers to the federal government. The red states are net tax receivers. So we pay more, and what do we get for it? Fucking less representation, and then harassed by the red states, harassed by a psychotic war criminal Republican president who's invading our cities, who's rounding up our innocent people and throwing them in fucking concentration camps. That's what we get. So why would we stay in that arrangement? Why should Wyoming have 2 senators and fucking California have 2 senators when Wyoming has less than 1 million people and California has roughly 17 quadrillion people? Why is it the same representation? I'm sorry, but it doesn't add up anymore. It doesn't make sense anymore. And so a national divorce would make sense. We should have blue states. We should have red states. Fucking break it up into 2 separate countries. Come back in 50 years and tell me who's doing better. I think we know the answer to that. So here's Stephen Miller fucking threatening to deport children because Zoran won, throwing a temper tantrum, which, by the way, just so we're clear, this only cuts in one direction. If somebody who's far left wins, why is it that the right feels the need to say, we need to undermine you in any way we can? That's why we're going to deport like half the city now. Why do you think you need to do that? If his ideas are so bad and the city's going to collapse under the weight of his ideas, why don't you just sit back and watch and see what happens? It almost sounds like you know that the ideas are going to be successful, so you want to go in there and fuck everything up and punish people for trying to improve New York City. That's what it sounds like to me. So it's incredible. It never cuts in the other direction. If some fucking far-right asshole wins in some far-right place, you don't have the lefties going, well, how can we undermine and sabotage them? No, we go, it's going to collapse under its own weight anyway. We'll sit back and watch. Like, we know what's going to happen. Right-wing politics are stupid. Just authoritarian controls on everybody socially, cracking down on gay people and trans people and minority communities, and wow, cutting taxes for the rich and raising them on working-class people. I wonder how this is going to go. No, we know you're going to fuck everything up. We know it. So we don't need to try to sabotage you. Why are you trying to sabotage us? Because you know our ideas will actually work. So that's what Stephen Miller's doing. This is crashing out because Zoran won. But then we also have this I wanted to share with you. ICE officials testify in open court that they believe it's okay to arrest people for their political opinions and that they have ordered officers to arrest people for their speech. This is insane. And this goes back to what I was saying, how there's no fucking serious training. They're bringing in all the rejects. There's countless criminals who are now part of ICE. There's a bunch of fucking fat people, too, that are not hitting the bare minimum, even physical requirements, never mind, like, knowledge requirements. And here they are admitting in court, like, yeah, if somebody says something we don't like, we can arrest them. And we've done that. Well, on that alone, your ass should be fired, and your ass should be arrested. Fucking depriving people of their constitutional rights, their First Amendment rights. It's literally the First Amendment. The first one. And you didn't know that? You're going to arrest somebody for their speech and then hit us in court with the, I didn't know I couldn't do that, from the Dave Chappelle stand-up special from a long time ago. I'm sorry, officer. I didn't know I couldn't do that. You didn't know you couldn't do that. You didn't know you couldn't arrest somebody for their free speech? Oh my God, bro. This is crazy. It's just so crazy. Every day we stray further and further from God's light. Every single day. And then we also have this. In a filing overnight, plaintiffs say immigration agents in Lakeview were caught on video saying, let's toss tear gas at a crowd for fun. They also reveal some of what Border Patrol Commander Bavino said in his deposition and allege it's the opposite of what actually occurred. So Bavino has been lying under oath. That's been fucking proven. And there's literal video of ICE agents saying, let's shoot tear gas in the crowd for fun. And this is how you get a scenario, by the way, where babies get tear gassed as they have been by these absolute fucking demons. These absolute fucking demons. So, let's remember, let's keep all of this in mind, that 22 people we know have died in ICE custody. 22. On that alone, this fucking rogue agency should be disbanded. This is insane. It's insane. You have literal criminals who are joining ICE. They've ran over people with cars. They've also tear-gassed journalists. They've tear-gassed cops. They've zip-tied naked kids who were U.S. citizens and threw them in the back of a U-Haul van at like 2 or 3 in the morning. They deported a guy for having cologne that they lied about and said it was drugs. They deported a guy who was wrongfully imprisoned for 40 fucking years and finally got released, and then he got deported. How insane is that? This is a guy who should be like compensated by the state, and he's just being kicked out and sent to a country he doesn't know dick about. He doesn't know anything about it. So all of this happening on top of raiding schools and farms and Home Depots and meatpacking facilities and all that stuff. I mean, it is atrocious. It is atrocious. So I'm telling you, there is no law, and we won't have a country unless these people are fucking punished for what they've done. And I mean that. And I mean, Stephen Miller needs to go to jail for fucking life. Stephen Miller needs to go to prison. He needs to be in there, and he needs to understand we don't do this in a civilized society. What you're doing, we don't do in a civilized society. And so that's another reason why they're so desperate, and they're probably going to make a move, and they're already making moves to rig 2026 and 2028, is they know, man, we've almost put the Democrats in a position where they can't not try to arrest some of us and hold us accountable criminally. Because this isn't like Obama tried the whole, we look forward, we don't look backwards with George W. Bush and Dick Cheney. First of all, the base hated it, right? But second of all, now we're already like quadruple the number of crimes even they committed. And they were no fucking spring chickens when it came to crime. These motherfuckers were committing a lot of crime. But this regime is way, way worse, way more over the top. And so you're almost forcing the Democrats' hand where they have no choice. I mean, a Democrat might not even want to arrest them, but feels like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I mean, look at all the shit they fucking did. And it's on a daily basis. You even have Trump, as we talked about yesterday, ignoring court orders to release the food stamp money, the SNAP funds. I mean, it's crazy. Multiple courts were like, you got to release that. It's like, yeah, there's a government shutdown, but that's a necessity. You got 40 million Americans who would be starving without it. You got to release it. He goes, no, I'm not going to do that. And I'm going to blame the Democrats as I say I'm not going to do that. Telling you, don't pass go. Lock these motherfuckers up. It's never been more clear. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.